I find it very strange that when MacG does something wrong, there are so many trolls on YouTube. Look at the Joseph Dary type of situation.
Oh, bro, but I won't lie to you, man. Like, I felt so bad. We've spoken a lot on the podcast. I mean, we've had the podcast for about 4 or 5 years. We say a lot of shit, but that really hit me to the core, you know?
Even me, I was,
MacG falsely accused him of being on a show that exposes pedophiles. And boy, did he trend. Last week, he apologized. And guess what? The numbers were not the same. There weren't as many YouTube videos out there. There weren't as many YouTube videos trying to expose the positivity that came from that sincere apology. Then I watched today's episode on the 4th of March, and I see Joseph Dary on Podcast and Chill with MacG. JJ Singh was also there. And on that particular show, we saw MacG apologize and reiterate his apology again, but also gave Joseph the platform to openly forgive him.
Joseph Dary! What mean?
So I'd like to discuss in this video some of the things that we can learn from their interaction, from the humility and growth of Joseph Dary, from the openness in the discussion and openly admitting one's wrongs, from actually thinking about the options that we need to take sometimes before we take harsh actions that may hurt our growth in the future. So stick with me as we explore this particular journey.
Dog, I'm sure it's been a crazy month for you, right?
well,
So Joseph Dary, I didn't know him. I wasn't one of those people that were watching his videos. I wasn't a fan or a super fan or anything like that. In fact, I got exposed to his name on Podcast and Chill with MacG. But when I saw the response videos that came in, and I saw all the trolls on YouTube that actually came in and gave their take and painted MacG as this bad person who hates on Black excellence, then I knew that there would come a time where I actually post a video, not in defense of MacG, because he has done himself some pretty silly things. But if you followed him from the start, he hasn't really changed his character. And if you paint him with the brush of being a bad person, then it's you at the same time who doesn't see the good in all the things that he does. See the number of people that are employed under the Podcast and Chill network. See the number of podcasts that are added to the network and some of the ideas that they come up with so as to add and put more people on in this podcasting space. The South African podcast space is still quite niche, because the focus is still on celebrities, the focus is still on gossip, the focus is still on trendy topics. The niche subject matter podcasts aren't overly hyped in South Africa because there aren't many. So the podcast networking space within the country is still quite small. So when YouTubers come on this space, on this platform, which is YouTube, and they try to break down another creator so that they can be catapulted to a new level themselves, then it's a cause for concern. And that's when people like 𝐿𝐶𝐬𝐜 from It Starts With You have to come in and put a voice of reason in the mix of everything that's happening. So there was a level of humility that was put forth by Joseph.
I'm not that person when you hit me this side and I hit you back. No, I'm that one when you hit this side, I give you the other side.
He gave a bit about his background, his father being a pastor, and that in itself is a lesson, because the impact that parents have on us is long lasting. From how they introduce us to the cultural space, to the religious space, to certain values and principles that help us take on challenges in future, that actually makes characters like Joseph, who see the opportunity and positivity in every situation. That's a lesson in and of itself. MacG's podcast is huge. It's already a big platform. So if your name is put on that platform in a negative light, then it means that chances are there'll be some negative repercussions that come with it. At the same time, if you choose to flip the script and see it in a positive light, then it means you yourself can become a Joseph. There are many platforms out there. Many of the hosts bring forth information that's not factual, as what MacG did. Even though he had someone he could bounce that notion off of who came from that particular channel, which is Moja Love, and they were in sync in terms of what they had said. Unfortunately, the rap still ends with MacG. That's where it still ends, and that's why he was taking a lot of the online abuse or the online criticism that came with what he did. So I'm not justifying what he did, because after all, they do have a fact checker. This is the reason why they hired a fact checker on the show, and because of that, he should have done better. But when you make a mistake, then the lesson is that find ways to mend your errors, find ways to fix your errors so that your mistakes are not detrimental in or detrimental to the other party. Do it as do it as expeditiously and speedily and fast and quick as possible so that the impact is limited. Remember, this particular story trended for a week or just over a week. And because of that, there's certain actions that were needed to be taken to mend the situation. The first of being open and transparent and admitting that you're wrong. Secondly, apologizing with sincerity. Then taking it further now, having put Joseph on this particular platform. So that's the vast array of lessons that we can learn from this. But if MacG was to talk about you and you are already up and coming, use it as an opportunity as well, just like Joseph did. Seize the moment, seize the day, and there are many positive things that can come from that. So it becomes mutually beneficial if, instead of beefing in this online space, instead of focusing on the negativity within this online space, we actually focus on the positivity. We focus on a positive, optimistic view of things. We focus on the positive impact, and we actually lead the way so that other people can learn from the mistakes that we make online. Because the other element is that it's on the internet, it's forever. So no matter how much we try to justify the actions, at the same time, people's criticism of MacG is on the internet. It's forever. So it swings both ways. The pendulum doesn't just stop at a center, it swings both ways. And thus, we need to be very thoughtful, conscientize people about what's happening, make people aware, but at the same time, do not judge. There's another lesson as well. If MacG did not become the higher man or take the higher route and actually apologize, how many people would then still remain following him as sheep? How many people would still not see anything wrong in what he did? And how many people would not push him? I know chillers. Chillers would definitely not do that, because most chillers, myself included, have been there from the get-go. So we've seen the vast amount of good things that MacG has actually done, and we've seen the bad and negative things that have come. But knowing his character and knowing that it's only entertainment, baby, knowing that he does it for entertainment, that actually makes us proud to still be chillers and to follow him. So I hope that you learned something from this video, because after all, it starts with you and I, that we use YouTube as a positive platform to learn, to grow, to make money, and to actually have an impact. And that's why we are following MacG. On to the next one. I love you. I appreciate you. And that's it, folks.